Hello, everyone, and welcome to Her Space Podcast. My name is Edna Thiongombogwa, and I'm your host. Her Space Podcast is all about women inspiring women. We're going to be sharing stories of mothers and women in Kenya, in Africa, and the globe. Today, I have a very special guest, a good friend of mine. We've come from way back. Faith Onea, a communication specialist, a mom. What else, Faith, can I say about you?
A writer, editor.
Oh, an author, an editor. She contributed 2 stories in my book, Tea with Mom, Stories of Mothers. One about her beautiful mom, and she'll tell us a little bit about her and about her raising her daughter. I love Faith so much. She's been a sister, a friend. She's always the first person I call when I'm trying to do something new. So when I wanted to write my book during COVID time, I still called Faith and we workshopped, we thought about it and we co-created and came up with a beautiful book. And when I wanted to start a podcast, she's the first guest in the show. So Faith, you're so special to me, you have no idea. And I can't wait to have this conversation together. So karibu sana. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Edna. Edna has been my mentor, friend from way back. She used to be my boss. She used to challenge me. She used to ask me about my future when I really just wanted to make a living. She was like, you need to make a future. She inspired me into my journey to do with qualitative research. And I'm honored to be here today to speak with you, Edna, about parenting, about motherhood. I know I was the first one to start this journey, but it always feels like I'm the one who's looking up to you because I feel like your son inspired you to do so much more and be so much more. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation with you today.
Karibu sana, and thank you for coming. I just wanted to add that Faith Onea had a first class honors. I have to always embarrass you with that. She's so clever. She was top of class. Never talks about that, but I think having a first class honors from the University of Nairobi is big deal. I don't know what you're doing with that. By the way, what do people do when they get first class? And then, of course, we were both supposed to be teachers. We did education. We were supposed to teach English and literature.
Yes.
And then now we moved on to research, which was amazing, right?
Yes.
The way we just stumbled into market research and loved it. Like for me, it was just accidental. Like I was just going about looking for a job and people said there's somebody collecting data. And we have fallen in love with market research. And I love the way we've impacted a lot of organizations. Yeah, so
Definitely.
I always tell people when they ask me, what is market research? It's like when people see polls and they're like, who said we are going to vote for this person? It's we get to always sample, like collect a group of people and ask them things about like a brand. Like, for example, we're drinking hibiscus tea. And by the way, karibu sana, this is hibiscus tea served in a Turkish
Thank you.
whatever style. I loved it, yeah. So we ask people, what do you like about hibiscus tea? And they tell us maybe it's a little bitter, the packaging and all that. And we take that information back to organizations and we've done some beautiful work across the country and in Africa. And then Faith left research. Where did you go? Tell us a little bit about post-research life.
Yes.
Are you still doing a bit of research though?
I am, because I'm working as a writer and editor right now with a global NGO, and you cannot be a writer without research.
Yes.
And just like you, when we started off our research journey, marketing research journey, it was by accident.
Yes.
It was like a means of survival,
Yes.
a little bit of pocket money,
Yes.
and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We didn't know we'd stay for that long. I think I stayed in marketing research for like 10 years.
Yeah, I'm almost 20 now.
Almost 20 now, exactly. And we also realized that both of us did teaching degrees, Bachelor of Education in English and Literature.
Yes.
That helped as well.
Yeah.
In terms of how you ask questions, how you listen, how you do your reports.
Yes.
And especially to do with the qualitative research, where it's all about your listening and writing skills.
Yes.
So that really shaped me. Those early years really shaped me. You are my mentor in qualitative research. And then you told me to to shikilia that line and not let go.
Yeah, because you're very good at it also.
Exactly. And I think as a creative, as a writer, as an editor, that was would have been my natural home.
Yeah.
And I left 10 years later to go into media.
Yes.
So I was a journalist for about 9 years. I rose through the ranks. I actually started from scratch when I entered the newsroom.
Wow.
Because in research, I'd risen to the level of a research manager.
Yes.
But when I left, there was no space for that inside the newsroom.
Yes.
So I had to take an entry-level job.
Oh, wow.
But ended up rising.
Oh, yes, I remember.
You remember?
Nation.
Exactly.
Yes.
When I entered the Nation Media Group as an online editor.
Yes.
It was an entry-level opportunity.
Yeah.
And I took it up.
Yeah.
Because I'd always held this dream of being a journalist, being a writer. And that opportunity spoke to that dream. So I decided, why not? Let me take it up.
Yes.
The interesting thing is that when I was switching jobs, first it was an entry-level job, and number two, it was a lower salary than I was getting.
Wow, that was serious sacrifice.
I was serious sacrifice.
You wanted it. It was passion.
I feel like also it was a bit foolish because I didn't really think it through. And then I realized during, I think, in the middle of, after I just accepted that offer, I realized I was pregnant.
Ooh,
I was like,
I remember that story.
You know,
yes.
Like, what the hell have you done, Faith?
Yes.
You know, you're now
Left
becoming a mother, left a stable job, coming into the media.
Yeah. And
the media is quite, you can't say it's stable. You know, even right now it's not stable. Even that time it was like, you know, I don't want to curse on the show because I know it's not that kind of show, but I was like, you know, asterisks on that word.
Exactly.
But anyway, I took it on. So I was entering new job and then new phase in life where I was becoming a mother. Yeah, I managed to rise through the ranks. By the time I was leaving Nation, I was an editor.
Yeah, well
so
done.
It made sense eventually, like after 6 years or so, when I became an editor. Stayed on for 3 more years. So I spent 9 years in total in the media. And then I left. I joined the International Committee of the Red Cross as their global web editor. And then after that, I joined a different NGO called IPAS, which is based in North Carolina, still as a writer and editor.
Wow. Are you going to the States or you're staying?
It's a global role. That means my manager is based in the US, but it's also remote. That means I work from the house.
Anywhere.
Yeah, I work from anywhere. Exactly. I'm
a
digital nomad, so to speak.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you've done so well, Faith.
Thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you. And I know your mama would have been so proud.
Thank you.
So when we wrote putting the stories together for my book Tea with Mom, you wrote about your mom. It was a hilarious story of how she raised you. Do you want to talk a little bit about your mom?
Yes,
and especially because I'm very passionate about mothers. Just to give you that perspective, as you've said, is I think I had also underrated motherhood for long.
Yes.
Or I thought that being a high professional, successful woman, motherhood would just be like writing a proposal and pitching and getting the job. I thought it was easy.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to tell people, when I become a mom, it's not going to be a big deal. I will hire people.
Yes.
Somebody hold my boob. I am typing and winning jobs and bap the baby.
Exactly.
I thought it was like supposed to be not something, because I used to hear people saying that motherhood stopped them.
Yes.
And then I used to be like, how? It's just something, I just do it easily. Hey, let me tell you, it was a whole different story. And I'm still growing into it. It's becoming like the story of motherhood, never like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Like it continues to open new pages and new challenges come in. So when I became a mom, I was 40, it was COVID time. And I think as I was just experiencing my own journey, I started also asking people whether they went through the same.
Yeah.
And I've had so many, like crazy and funny stories about motherhood.
Yeah.
Like even just night walking. What is it with mothers just walking around the night in the house? Like me, I walk in my house with no lights. But my husband thinks I'm crazy, and I think my nannies wonder. Because like I don't switch on the lights, but I will know where everything is. I just touch, I know where the bottle is, I know where the baby is, like checking temperatures and all that. And as I talk to so many, I think I must have spoken by now to more than 300 mothers.
Wow.
The stories are so amazing, and they have opened up to many themes. So the more story, the next books I will write will be on different themes, but still in this space. So the whole story of a mother who is a journalist, a mother who is a politician,
Yeah.
a mother who is a CEO,
Yeah.
a mother who is a mama mboga. The stories are amazing and beautiful. And joys of motherhood are also different. The
Yes.
joys and pains of motherhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So maybe we can start with you telling us a little bit about your mom. I know
Okay.
she's late, and may she continue resting in peace.
Yeah.
She's proud of you.
Thank you. Thank
Super
you.
proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Let's see, maybe the earliest memory I remember about my mother, who was a teacher as well. I know your parents were teachers as well.
Yes.
My mother was a primary school teacher as well, employed by the government. So she taught at a public primary school.
Yes.
And somehow my mother was always in my school.
Yeah.
She took us to a private primary school. Somehow she was always there influencing and shaping what you were learning, what you were doing. And I used to really get
Like all
annoyed.
moms. I know, kuingilia.
No, actually, it's not all moms. Not all moms do that.
I know.
Because in the drama, during drama training rehearsals,
Yeah.
she's there.
Yeah.
She's helping the drama teacher direct.
Wow.
I was like, can this
She didn't even work here.
woman just go home?
Yeah,
and back to her
relax.
school. You're doing poetry. She's the one you're rehearsing at home.
Yes.
In front of her, and you're going back to the teacher with notes.
Yeah, that was my
And even some teachers would be, I think moms who are teachers are like that.
Yeah.
And some teachers would really get annoyed.
Yeah.
And there's a teacher who asked me, who does your mother think she is?
Where? Okay.
So I went home and told mom, Mommy, he told me to ask you who you think you are.
Oh my God, in verbatim.
So she told me, go back and tell them I think I'm your mother.
Oh.
So I went back, but I didn't relay that information. I was like, this wisdom.
Itakumaliza.
Yeah, this one is going to finish me.
Yeah.
The teacher will finish me. So anyway, she was very, very highly involved in our lives, in our schoolwork, and in so on and so forth. And maybe the earliest memory I have of her involvement was when I was about 4 years old. And in the full wisdom of a 4-year-old, I thought, if your mother is a teacher, then you should get some free passes somewhere in school. And so it came to exam time, and I remember very well Teacher Rosalie. We always have those teachers who shape you.
Yes.
And she asked me to sing the national anthem, just the first stanza.
Yeah.
And I refused to sing. I was like, my mother is a teacher, I won't sing.
Please.
So I was sent home. My mother was asked to come for me. I went home. So I was scolded, and brought back to school and made to sing. Yeah. And I remember she told me such bad stories about what would happen if I disobeyed
another teacher.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. So that became the thing. If you're punished at school, you'll be punished at home.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So she was a very hands-on mother, very loving, very wise as well. And one of the hardest things that she went through was that she raised 2 children who had sickle cell anemia.
That's your siblings.
My siblings, our firstborn and our lastborn, both had sickle cell anemia.
Wow.
So I really saw the strength of a mother through her. And I always had a prayer to God that I should never have a child who has a terminal or, critical condition like that. Because it really, really breaks you. It really breaks you apart when you have to watch a child suffering and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
When you have a sickle cell anemic child, there's an element called there's something that happens to a child called a crisis. It's called a crisis. When the child is in crisis, there's no medicine on earth that can help that child.
Oh my God, the pain.
Through that pain. Yes.
Oh my God.
So the body will go through that pain until they get over that.
Wow.
So I really learned a lot about the strength of motherhood through watching how my mother was with her children, my siblings, and even the ones that she lost eventually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you asked about my journey at Nation as well.
Yes.
Like I said, when I joined the Nation, I was pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant. And I was like, what decision is this? And because it was an entry-level job, you were working in shifts.
Yes.
So you're working in, either you're coming in at 2, leaving at midnight, and such things.
Yes.
And it was very difficult for me during that time. And it
Were
was.
you still doing your master's then? Or you had completed?
I had already completed my master's
okay.
because I did my master's between 2008 and 2010.
Okay, so by the time you transitioned, you had completed.
I had already completed my master's, yes. So it's just trying to manage the very
new
hectic,
mom, a new job,
a new mom,
a new
job.
industry.
Exactly, new industry. And you know what? I came from SBO, which I think we were about 20 employees at
Yes.
SBO.
And now you're in this 700.
And then you're like 700 employees here and
top floors.
And to be honest, the media space in itself, and I'm not just saying nation, just the newsroom in itself, it's very manly, and there's not a lot of nurturing that goes on there.
Okay.
Most of the time you're left to your own devices. You know, if you do it well, it's okay. If you don't do it well, then you'll get hell for it.
Okay.
So it was a very difficult space.
Not like you'll be assisted.
Yes, you won't be assisted or mentored.
God.
It's like
that's rough.
You know. So what you receive in your inbox is a memo.
Wow.
You know, and not direction.
And you had come from this nurturing environment.
Exactly. I'd come from mentors like Edna, Catherine Gafu, Vikonyo.
And a nice family
kind
of
family
environment.
Like on your birthday, here your birthday, maybe you're lucky to get an email from the CEO, you know, something like that.
But you know, in the way we see media from outside, we see something different.
It's very difficult.
We see the glamour. For us now, the audiences. We see the glamour, the beauty. We don't know the rough edges.
The rough edges of the media. And I ended up, of course, making friends in the long run, but it was a very difficult space to navigate.
Yes.
And one of the things that I must say that happens to me and happens to a lot of mothers is that now you've given birth, you have gone for maternity leave, and now you're back in the office.
Yes. How was the comeback? Did you do the 3 months? In fact, that's one thing that I, at least me, because I was in the self-employed, I didn't have to go back until 7 months.
Yes.
But in employment, did you go immediately after 3 months?
I did go immediately after 3 months because I hadn't accumulated enough leave days to sort of stretch it further than that. So by the time I was coming back from maternity, we had a nice lactation room where you could express and store your milk, go with it home later. Wow. So that really helped because I was lucky I had a lot of milk.
Yeah.
And one day when I was taking milk back home, I was called by one of the managers at Nation. I won't say who. And I was told to go back to the office because there was a story that was pending, I had to edit and so on and so forth.
Yes.
The good thing for me is that I actually can be firm and, and a bit hard-headed. And I said, no, I'm not coming back to the office. I'm taking milk back home. And I got a memo after that. And I was told, you need to manage this thing, you know? You need to put this under control.
Yes.
Because you cannot, it can never happen again that you're going home when there's a story to be, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
And this happens to a lot of women. So it's not really a nation problem per se.
It's a problem.
It's a working mom problem. And that's why I'm bringing it up. It could happen to me anywhere else.
Yes.
And I was told, can you get this under control? And what I said, and I think really helped me, is I said when I was coming to Nation, I was not a mom.
Yeah, you didn't even.
I didn't even know I was pregnant. I became pregnant here, given birth here. So either you give me time to adjust.
Yeah.
To my new role as a mom and an editor in the newsroom, or, I'm not going to promise you anything.
Yeah.
And that is something that a lot of women can't voice the same concerns that they have. I was lucky enough that I had, a way to articulate that.
Exactly.
And also that I was good enough at my job for them not to let me go.
Yeah.
Because it is very easy for a new mom like that to be let go because you're trying to manage so many things. And that time I used to live in Buruburu. You're there chasing after Buruburu mats, and someone is asking you to go to the office,
Yes.
And it was very difficult, to be honest. And for a lot of moms in the not just in the newsroom, anywhere else, it's very difficult.
And how are you balancing the other things? Because this motherhood comes also with changes, your body.
Yes.
I remember you size 7.
Exactly.
What? All
exactly.
that. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Because I think it's something that it's not talked about.
Yes.
But I feel like for me also, none of all the clothes I wore can fit me now.
Exactly.
Every time I meet with anyone right now, they scream, they're like, oh! Then I'm like, what is it?
Exactly.
And they're like, what happened to you?
I know.
So,
and it's one of the most insensitive things that
your body
that
changes.
Happens.
And there's a lot of body shaming.
Yes. And that is the first thing. Because of course now when you're going back into the newsroom, to the office, for me, it was the newsroom.
Yeah.
None of your clothes fit.
None fit.
And your shoe size is one up.
Yeah, what happens to our legs? They
one up.
Fura.
So I did, one of the things I did immediately I entered the newsroom after maternity was to go to Bata and buy me some shoes.
Yeah.
Because my shoes were pinching me. I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I going to walk back?
Yes.
To the matatu stage or to the parking with these shoes. And one of the first things that one of my colleagues told me was how big I'd become.
Yeah.
And who wants to hear that?
The little girl who was hot.
Yes, exactly. Who wants to hear how big that they've become? Because it's not as if it's not as if you've been carrying this weight for 9 months. You're not going to lose it in the next month.
No.
Unless you have
even in years
a team of dietitians.
And you're not Kim Kardashian.
You're not Kim Kardashian and personal fitness trainers
Yes.
and people to control, because you're trying to control so many things.
Yes.
A lot of things are under control, including sometimes you have incontinence and you didn't even have that before.
I know.
Just because of the pressure on your pelvic bones.
Yes.
Those are the things that I thought. And the other thing that I thought, because I read a lot, and I thought this mother would think I'm just going to read about it. And
You thought you would ace it also just like that.
I
was not alone in thinking.
Actually, what is that thing called? The famous book about pregnancy?
Not the website.
No, there's not the website. There's a book about pregnancy, a very famous one, a big book.
Oh, I know it, and I have it
that.
even. Yeah.
Yes,
my friend gifted
yes,
me.
that one. I read so many books. I could even name them if I remembered, because it's been a decade now. Of course, I don't remember the books I read. And I was like, I got this,
Yeah.
And of course, one of the most difficult things for me was breastfeeding. I didn't know about breastfeeding was such a, I thought it was natural,
Yes.
And I think natural is overused when it comes to motherhood. A lot of things are not natural.
Yes.
A lot of things are not. Even bonding with your child, breastfeeding, all those things.
Yeah, because there's nobody who tells you how to do it.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think we're expected just like, to naturally go through these things.
Yes.
There's no manual, there's nowhere.
Exactly.
And the experiences are different.
They are different.
So you see even the way one mom is doing this is different from another one.
Yes.
So it's and did you feel like it's lonely?
It does. It feels lonely, especially when you're at night with your baby.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do all this, and you're trying to catch you some sleep.
Yes.
It can be very, very lonely.
And you find like some questions may look stupid to ask.
Yes.
So you don't ask them,
Yeah.
and then you continue just you just continue suffering, kind of,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found that really helped me at the time, I don't know whether anyone uses Facebook these days, but at the time I was giving birth, Facebook was really popular, and there were lots and lots of support groups for moms. And when I was struggling with breastfeeding, that's where I went. Yeah, because my mom is not alive.
Yes.
I don't have close aunties I could talk to.
You're in the city.
So I talked to my Facebook friends.
Yeah, that community.
That community of new moms. And I got lactation specialists. And that's also a privilege.
Okay.
Because those specialists they don't come on the cheap.
Yes.
They're quite expensive.
Yes.
But I got a lactation specialist, and that was the game changer for me. In terms of being able to breastfeed my child for, I think, 11 months.
Wow, well
just
done.
because I had a specialist. But you never think that as a new mother, that's something you need to invest in.
Exactly.
Because you just see people whipping out their breast and giving it to their kids. You're like, even me, I also do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yet it's not natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole thing of removing the boob is not quite easy.
Yes, exactly.
We used to,
exactly.
like
and
sometimes
if you're big chest, you can even overwhelm your child. You can suffocate that child with that boob.
My mom warned me, say, big boobies,
Exactly.
be careful.
Exactly.
Just put it on the nose and the child is gone while you're thinking.
You think you're breastfeeding, the child is asleep, kumbe the child has fainted.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. So it's quite something. And I think it's important for us to become intentional, especially like in terms of support. So when you think about working moms, what kind of support do you think organizations need to put in place to make it comfortable for her?
Okay.
We did a study in 2022, and we found a lot of working moms. If we asked one question, like, what would you do if you had a day?
Yes.
24 hours.
Yeah.
And we had, it was coming from another study that was done in the US, and they, like 90-something% of mothers said they would just sleep. Imagine if they had a day off. You know how when you ask men, I'm sure they would be playing golf, they would be watching a football match.
Yeah.
A lot of moms just said they would sleep. And even in Kenya, when we asked moms, we found that a lot of moms were talking about going for a massage, which was alluding to sleep.
Yes.
Going for a spa session, which was still ending up in sleeping.
Yeah.
Or just chilling in the house. So there's some fatigue. So when you think about a woman who has to show up, like tomorrow both of us, a man and a woman, have to show up, what kind of support would, maybe even in the corporate world, and think also about family level and society level?
Okay. I think in retrospect, the Nation Media Group has, over the years, improved in how they treat mothers. The lactation rooms became bigger, better, more comfortable, and that is a huge benefit to any new mom.
Yeah.
A huge benefit. I think if everybody could afford to do that, do a lactation room, make sure that there's a place where people can sit, warm their food, people can store their milk. That's a wonderful initiative. Nation also has flexi time for new moms.
Oh, that's nice.
And flexi time, of course, sometimes it depends on which manager is managing you and so on and so forth. But because it's in the HR policy, it's a benefit to all employees.
Yes.
It means that you can actually have leave your shift by 4 p.m.
Yes.
Be home in time to feed your baby, to be with your baby.
Yeah.
So flexi time and lactation rooms for mom at the corporate level, that for me is a plus. I know some organizations also have creche. They're called
Yes,
creche.
like creche.
A creche for
almost like a little school.
Exactly.
Kindergarten.
Exactly. And again, that's of
Daycare.
course that's
I think it's a daycare kind of.
That's a huge investment.
Yes.
For anyone who can make such an investment, because I know Safaricom has invested in that. And anyone else who can make such an investment, they should not shy away from doing that.
Yes.
Because you realize that even as a working mom, when you go back to the office, you almost want to work double.
Yes.
You don't want to show people that you are
weak
or unable to perform because you're a new mom. So they actually, I'm sure you've seen research that has shown that people who come back from maternity work even harder than those who haven't been to maternity leave.
Yes.
And at the home level, I think what can change, or what I would ask of people who are coming to see new moms is to just support them.
Yeah.
Don't expect the new mom to go there and whip up a gourmet meal for you.
Yes.
Come with the meal.
Yes.
Cook the meal.
Are you talking to mother-in-law? Yes, mother-in-law, I have no egg game. I'm breastfeeding. I'm tired.
Exactly.
Can you just hold the baby and deal with it?
And people who are, I think mothers-in-law who are sensitive these days, they don't expect you to whip up.
Nowadays we have proper.
Nowadays we have proper. And some people don't have that. It's not just in their consciousness.
Yes.
It needs to be in anyone's consciousness that a new mom needs support. She needs sleep.
Yes.
Take the baby, feed the baby, wash the baby if you can. And I'm so lucky that I have a very good support network of friends as well.
Yes.
Who are in the same like childbearing and mothering age.
Yes.
So anyone who's been there before knows what it takes, and we will support this new mother in that way.
Yes.
When we go there, we are the ones who are staying the baby. If you can't be with us because you need to catch a nap, then you should not make the mother feel guilty.
Yes.
Let her take that nap. Let her take that nap. Let her go wherever she wants to go.
And take a break.
Because
I found actually sleep is something that is lacking.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
You because also you worry a lot.
Yes.
And it was of great benefit to hear about your mom and how she had to also take care of your siblings who had challenges, because I also I'm raising my son. He was diagnosed with autism. So it's also a big challenge. I think the last 2 years, especially after learning about his diagnosis, I couldn't sleep at all. Like I'm going to check whether he's okay, whether he's hot or he has a fever. I mean, just worrying, until I realized it's actually not a disease.
Exactly, it's a spectrum, right?
It's a spectrum,
and you're so lucky as a mom.
Yeah,
and also I guess I have to applaud you for being intentional.
Yes,
because if you see your child's milestones are not hitting the way they're supposed to be hitting, because you're present and intentional, you could not have detected that earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the good thing with autism is that when you detect it early,
the interventions
that are made there, you'll be able to live a full and wholesome life.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a happy boy, and now after and I think also it's when you think about just a mother and then add special needs, it's a whole new level of complexity.
Exactly,
it's very difficult.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot more that we can do, even as a community, to be more empathetic.
Exactly.
I think today when I see City Council arresting a woman, I almost want to pay the fees. Like, please.
Exactly.
Imagine umevurutwa, wekwa kwa hiyo truck
with you and
a
your child.
child.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that happen
And I
as
love
well.
the initiatives that women are doing. I found someone online. She has created a daycare near the markets. It's amazing.
I saw that. I think
she's
near
called Wow
City
Mom.
Market. Yeah.
Near Mwariro Market.
Yes.
And they're doing a daycare so that moms who are in the marketplace can have spaces and they can work, they can focus on their work as the child is also growing.
Yeah.
What are the highlights of being a mom? You know, this is the Mother's Month.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's May.
Yes.
What are some of the highlights of being a mom?
Yeah. For me, I think just having someone who's a source of unconditional love.
Yeah.
I think that is something that you cannot get. It's difficult to get anywhere else.
They just love you for who you are.
Yes, and there's no day when you wake up when your child's love is half a glass.
Oh, it's
or
always
a quarter.
full.
It's always full. Even on the times when you're close with each other, you're close at your child, the glass will always be full.
Yeah.
I think we tap that from our mothers and we tap that from our children as well.
Yeah.
So I think that is just the gift of motherhood. And I know some people have adopted children. And I know that, and that's why I say sometimes the word natural is overused in motherhood.
Yes.
I know you're also a mother to some stepchildren.
Yes, I'm a
and you consider
Blended
yourself
family mom.
exactly.
Yes.
You consider yourself their mother.
Yes.
And it means that the love they have for you is unconditional.
Yes.
And the love you have for them is also unconditional.
Completely.
So for me, that's the biggest gift and blessing of motherhood, is just having unconditional love from your child. Anytime your child hugs you, it's just, I cannot quantify that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest highlight for me. And even the other thing is just watching your child grow, watching their personality change over time. And for example, for me, when I was raising my daughter Imora, she was a very shy baby. She was a very shy baby. You would come into the room and she would scream because you are a stranger.
Oh.
She'd only accept either me or her dad to carry her. For a long time, there's a time I even took her to hospital. Because we had brought in a new nanny. Yes. Whoa. She was crying. So you realized the issue was that there was a stranger in the room. So even when we were at parties, sometimes we'd have to hide.
Yes.
And hide in the bedroom with her until she sleeps, because she didn't want to see strangers. And you talked about intentional parenting. And for me, just the fact that I say this girl is quite shy, and the world will just swallow a shy person.
Yes.
It swallow you alive.
Yeah, this world is a bit harsh.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how do I make sure that I raise a confident child?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think every parent wants, by the time you're leaving this world, you're leaving them with something, That is sort of like the inheritance. We don't have the millions and billions that some people have. But what's your inheritance? It's the character that you develop in your child, that you build in your child. That's your inheritance, by the way. It's the values that you instill in your child.
Yes.
That's the inheritance.
Yes.
And one of the things I did very deliberately was I took her to drama school.
Oh.
I took her to drama school and I told the drama teacher.
You were singing also.
Yes.
You remember even in the book you talked about how your mom made you.
Yes.
Where
oh my goodness, that story, I need to tell it.
The traditional
thing. So I made sure, so I went and talked to the drama teacher and told the drama teacher, I'm not looking for a Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes.
I'm looking for a confident child. By the time I get this child a month later, I want her to be confident. I want her to stand in front of people and speak.
Faith, do you see yourself reliving your mom?
Reliving my mom.
Exactly what she made you do.
So I took her to drama school. She used to go there every weekend, rehearsals, choral verse, nini. And eventually she stood in front of people.
And did she like it?
She didn't like it, but she benefited from it.
Okay.
She benefited after that.
The mother.
Yes. Because she would go, when she was in kindergarten, she would stand in front of people. Instead of facing people, she's facing the other side.
Okay.
All her classmates are facing this side. I was like,
She's only 10 anyway.
She was, yes. And no, she was, I think 3 at that time, 3 or 4 at that time. She was very young.
If that was pressure.
She was very young.
A 3-year-old doesn't have to face anybody. clearly.
She was the only one who was
corporate
facing
mother,
the other,
high achieving.
facing the other side. And so that helped her. And the other thing I did for her was that I took her for swimming lessons.
Okay.
I said, when you have a skill,
Yeah.
obviously your confidence will
How's she
shoot
doing
up.
with that?
She's a very good swimmer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's a very good swimmer.
My son is
but I
swimming
took
too,
her when she was 3-4 years.
Oh,
So I said,
wow.
I need to build a skill in her that will make her confident.
Yeah.
And slowly she has developed her own personality.
Wow.
She has her own things that she struggles with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm comfortable and confident
Yeah.
that I'm raising a confident child.
Human being.
Yes,
Wow.
confident human being.
Well done.
Yeah.
That is crazy pressure. And I
Drama
laughed
school.
because you the way you said it in your story about your mom is how you were so annoyed that she had to make you.
I know.
Like-
I know. Maybe I can tell that story in a very short form.
Yeah.
I think I was about 10 years old. Was I even 10? I think 8
You're
or
quite
9.
younger, yeah.
Much younger. And then my breast was just starting to sprout.
Oh yeah, then you must have
So
been
you could
10
feel
and over.
oh something. Yeah, they were just starting to sprout, and you could feel them. The card
Yes.
thing. And I was feeling this boy in the class. So I was like,
Already?
yeah. I was really like this boy. And so my mom, as usual, came. I think what was happening? I think it was either music festivals or something. And then she said, you're going to perform.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So I had a sisal skirt and a t-shirt, PE shirt. She removed that shirt.
Like there's no boob to be seen.
So there's no boob to be seen. What is it you're hiding? Yes.
Nothing.
And I was so annoyed. I was so freaking annoyed.
And your boy was over there looking.
Remove that t-shirt. Because it can't be traditional with a t-shirt. So I was in a side. We used to have bloomers. I know bloomers are out of date. I don't know
but then what is the title for them now?
Yes.
Bikers.
Bloomers, a sisal skirt, a fly whisk.
Yes. You
And-
danced there, chest
A naked
free.
chest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did forgive her for a long time.
You need to ask him more
Because
about how she
my
felt.
classmates really laughed at me. It's like
my God.
you showed us
I wish
your
there was
chest.
a photo. But yeah, it made good reading. And people love that story in my book.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
So
but it's just mothers
but
trying to...
eventually, for my mom, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder whether I was a confident child or I was just my mother's child. Because in my mother's house, you could not afford not to be confident.
Yes.
When guests come, hey, Faith, come and perform.
What?
Yes.
Perform, must have tea.
Yes, we were the entertainment. I was like, what?
There was no TV
Because
those days.
it was not the same. Even if there were TV, it was at 4 p.m. I think the TVs used to be open at 4 p.m. and
Wow.
it's black and white. It's not really something you look.
Do the whole
We were
performance.
the entertainment. Right,
Your
you know,
mom was
poem yako
awesome.
you know that poem you performed at Suji What Festival, come and perform it
In front of aunties.
in front, and you perform well. You don't perform at TO. Yeah? In front of
No wonder you are
it's fine.
serious about your daughter not facing front.
So it used to be the entertainment for all the guests
Wow.
in my mother's.
Yeah.
They remember us for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mothers are beautiful. My mom made me also recite a poem at 9 years. She really forced me. She wanted me to be in the Nyayo era. Remember 10 years
Nyayo
of
used to-
Nyayo
yes,
era?
yes.
President Moi was going around the country
Yes.
collecting the kids who were 10 years old.
The best,
I
yeah.
was 9. But my mom made sure I recited. In fact, I'm known. The whole, in Othaya, everyone knows the Kasianaka poems. Yeah. And
Nice.
in fact, I used to lose the competition when I reach provincials, because now I would meet kids from boarding schools who speak
Yes.
good English. My mother and I, we were shrubbing to death. That's how we knew. We were even wondering what is shrubbing. So anyway, that's my mom, the
Others
teacher.
are speaking English of the nose.
That we used to lose. Yeah. So basically, I think that's how. Yeah,
That's how you also built your confidence.
Exactly. Yeah. She
Maybe
put me
that's
on stage very
yes.
early on.
And
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
wanted as well. Because that's
Yeah.
what brought me to Nairobi the first time. I think
Exactly.
I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Because we were coming to KICC to perform, you know?
Exactly.
Those solo verses
Oh
and
yeah,
all.
even I think I reached Nairobi only once.
Yeah.
And I used to lose. And then when I went to high school, I lost completely because now everyone was speaking very well. I couldn't speak. And I lost my confidence for
You
the whole
can.
high school because I
You
couldn't speak
can.
proper English.
Yeah.
And I told all these kids from Nairobi, please teach me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about, this shrubbing thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they taught me, they took time, and then I landed in linguistics.
Wow.
And yeah. And I remember even the first teaching practice that I did at Ledada School, I shrubbed and the boys
Oh, my
could not
goodness.
forgive me. So
Yeah.
I said, Chido Ache, what?
You are-
Could not even finish. They really harassed me. But
Yeah.
I think mothers try to do all those things to
Exactly.
get the best of their kids.
Yeah.
So this is the Mother's Month. How are you going to spend Mother's Day? What will you do? And I don't know which other mothers are going to matter to you.
Yes.
What are the good gifts for Mother's Day?
I think, for me, you talked about self-care a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of mothers.
Yeah.
I always look forward to the opportunity to do self-care for myself. I
Yeah.
really enjoy massages.
Yeah.
So I'll probably take myself for a massage.
I'll pay for that.
Oh.
Where do you want to go? I can take you to a favorite place of mine.
Yeah, I really enjoy massages, and I really enjoy spending time with Demora as well. So I'll probably go out for a meal. And I think, talking about gifts, I think vouchers are really good for mothers.
For Mother's Day.
Clothes, they're really good for mothers.
Yeah.
Care packages, something with some nice lotion and scented candles and so on and so forth. Really good for mothers. But it also depends on the kind of mother that you're targeting.
Yes.
If it's the mother the mama fua in your house,
she needs M-Pesa.
Yeah, she needs M-Pesa
Yes,
or
a
a food package, you know.
Yes.
So it depends on the kind of mother that you're talking about. If the kind of mother that has their basic needs sorted, then you probably want to pamper them.
Yeah.
If they're still struggling with their basic needs,
Yes.
that's the mother you need to. And at such a time when people are floods, are chasing people out of their homes,
we need to.
they just need food. They
Practicality.
just need, yes.
Yeah.
And now that you're talking about that, I have to plug in Rotary.
Yes.
I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Athi River.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and one of the things
Me
that
too,
we are
of
doing
Ridgeways.
of Ridgeways,
Yes.
one of the things we are doing during this time, we are responding to a call by Red Cross to offer dried foods and
nice.
clothes.
Yeah.
People who are displaced.
Oh, nice.
And they are currently being hosted at River Primary.
Oh, good.
So that's one thing that, as a mother,
I will feel
like I have supported a fellow mother.
Yes.
Because you don't want to see someone with their children suffering.
Exactly,
They have no dry clothes. They've lost all their property. They have no food.
Yeah.
So that's something we are doing as the Rotary Club.
Awesome. And we'll plug in. We'll all plug in. So thank you so much, Faith, for coming. I'm so honored for opening this podcast and telling us your story. If you were to talk to a mother who is coming after you, what are the 2 things that you tell them? Think about a mother who is now in 20s, a younger mom.
A younger mom. I think the number one thing I would say is don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
I think we wear a lot of independent women caps in everything that we do.
Yes.
But a child is raised by a village.
Yes.
A child is raised by a village, you know. Your friends, your aunties, your sisters, even if you have a partner, your partner, get him into that game.
Yes.
Get him into the game. Help them subscribe to that motherhood, because they say the child comes with their own supplies, like plates and everything, but they really heavily depend on us to survive. So a child is raised by a village.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
And number 2, don't be afraid. Don't feel guilty about taking out time for yourself.
Yeah.
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 Don't feel guilty about self-care or me time.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes it can be a luxury, but find ways of getting some time just for yourself.
Yes. Wow, such good advice. Thank you so
thank
much.
Thank you so
I'll
much
be
for
catching up
having
with
me.
you. Definitely. This is just the
Yes.
beginning,
Okay.
and we'll have further conversations on that.
Thank you.
you so much. All the best and happy Mother's Day.
Happy
have fun
Mother's
with
Day
Imora.
as well.
Let's do
Thank
the
you.
spa thing.
Okay,
I look forward, and
thank
thank you so much. I love you so much.
Thank you. Love
Thank
you
you
back.
so
Love you back.
much. Yeah, and thank you so much, our audience. This was Faith on Air speaking to us about her own journey and also the lessons she learned from her mom. Catch up soon with you guys in the next episode. And we are right here at Her Space. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Edna Thiongombogwa. Have a good day.